What you're going to learn in this video is one of the most fundamental concepts to your success as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. Now, this is something that I don't see spoken about often enough, and my goal, selfishly, for this channel is every time you watch one of my videos, that you walk away with some sort of like skill. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to just tell you what to do, but I want to sort of teach you how to fish, because this game of business, the sport of business, is really freaking cutthroat, right? And I want you to get good at it. And the people who do really well at business, and I'm a little puppy, like I do all right, but I'm a little small fish amongst the big sea of like cutthroat entrepreneurs. But the people who do business and operate at a very high level in the business world, they understand the game. Like, there's a really deep understanding. Like, if you look at the Hormozis of the world, as just a top of mind example, like, he really understands money models and stretching client LTV and ads and all facets of business. And that's just one of many examples. Like, certain people are really good at specific functions within the business. That being said, I want you to walk away with I want you to walk away from these videos smarter than you came. I don't want you to be a dunce or an idiot, because it's a real cutthroat out there. So the psychology of dealing with warm traffic and cold traffic is very important for you to understand if you want to make money. It's almost like you got to code switch and switch personalities and understand the psychology of these people so that you can speak to them differently, so you can ultimately make money and also obviously get them results and provide a great client experience, parlay this into testimonials, case studies, so on and so forth. This is one thing I'm good at, and I'll start off with a bit of a story here. This is something I don't think has been spoken about, and also, like, full on asterisk here, the psychology of understanding warm traffic and cold traffic, and also how to get rich by working with both is a very important tone that I want to set for this video. Okay, but we're not talking small money here, ever. Cool, I believe in you, but I'm not going to baby you. So let's start off with a little bit of a story and an analogy. It's not about me, but it's important. So I was running VintageScale, and then in October, I informally launched Spectre, which is my consulting company. We also provide education for folks who are looking to get into AI, lead gen, AI deal generation, whatever you want to call it, AI cold email. And off that launch, that was launched completely to warm traffic, people who know me, right? And like, I've had the luxury, I've been pampered for a little while, right? A lot of my clientele from Spectre has come from YouTube, and people who have seen me for a long time. Often, a lot of people have seen me build VintageScale from the ground up when I was doing daily videos for like 100+ days in a row. So these people know me, they know, like, and trust me, right? But anyway, so I launched Spectre in October, 50K, just like that, in under 30 days. Boop, just like that. So it came out of the sky. That was like the trust bank. There was so much dinero and coins, and so many coins and so much money in the trust bank, and I just withdrew it. Well, every time you make an offer, so every time you provide value, you're building trust, okay? And then when you make an offer, when you sell them something, when you pitch them something, you're withdrawing from that trust bank. And then if it gets some good results and they have a good experience, well, then the trust meter actually goes up, right? If you get them an ROI, the trust meter goes up. So it's not like you're taking the money and never putting it back. You're taking the money and you're using it. You know what I mean? Anyway, not to stray from the main point here. So I was getting pampered with Spectre, and 50K, boop. We were doing just fine with Spectre. October, November, December, I decided to, okay, I'm testing this with Spectre, perfecting it, getting a lot of good client results and testimonials, making sure the program is well fitted, well suited. Because eventually, if it does well, it overtakes VintageScale, then if this is going to be my main thing, well, then let's grow it and let's take it seriously. Let's get the world results, right? If it's a good thing and people are like advocating for it, well, then let's take it to market. So December, we turned on ads. Cool. And this is when you get like a reality check as to how good your offer is. And granted, like, your offer can be good for cold traffic, but not great for warm. Your offer can be great for warm traffic, but not great for cold. Your messaging can be great for warm traffic, but not great for cold, and vice versa. The game flips. And very rare, like, if an offer is good for cold traffic, it's usually good for warm traffic. But if an offer is good for warm traffic, it isn't always good for cold traffic. Why? Because you have the luxury of having trust built for warm traffic. So they overlook a lot of things. Like, your offer may not be that great, or it may have a lot of bumps in the road, or the client experience isn't all that great, or your sales process might have some holes in it. But because they know, like, and trust you from all these interactions and time that they've spent with you parasocially, that's a word, they like, you get away with a lot of things. So we took Spectre to market, ran ads. Granted, we're testing product market fit, because that's a whole separate video. You don't just take something to market and expect it to work. No, product market fit, messaging. Remember, like, you can sell ice to an Eskimo if the Eskimo is your best friend. You know what I mean? So, testing product market fit. Long story short, did we even get? We didn't even break even on our ads in December, right? January we saw some revenue, but not where I wanted it or needed it to be. Nor February. Actually, no. December and January is what's testing product market fit. We tried VSLs. We tried selling cold email through ads, done for you offers, done with you offers. Testing the product market fit, testing guarantees, everything. And then February, boop, things started to cook. Cracked ads, boom. It was right. That funnel's amazing. That funnel made me like 38 grand in like 14 days. I'll talk about that in another video. But it took 2 months, December, January, 2.5 months, so halfway into February, for this to actually work with cold traffic. You see what I mean? Like, it was, in other words, 60 to 75 days of readjustment of the product market fit, of the actual program itself, of the messaging, of the ads and creatives, of the client experience, the sales process, before it actually got to where it needed to be, and we're still readjusting, right? And so, like, cold traffic, when you're working with cold traffic, and I really understood this in VintaScale. I'll get to the tactics and strategies in a second, but bear with me because it's important for you to understand the psychology. Cool? So these folks have very little patience and are not so forgiving with you. And I'm like, a lot of you guys who watch this channel, you run agencies, you know this, right? When I was building VintaScale, it started off with cold traffic. And then, a few months into building VintaScale is when I opened up my YouTube channel, and then I started doing the daily videos. So a lot of my traffic came from warm, but still it was done for you AI cold email offer. So cold traffic, you almost have to. So warm traffic takes a long time to warm up. So start early. One thing I wish I would have done differently was I wish I had started my YouTube channel sooner. Like the day of starting VintaScale, I would have started my YouTube channel and I would have started documenting, just like this. I haven't changed my strategy at all, except I don't do daily videos right now. What was I gonna say? Cold traffic, you have to go out of your way, right? That Alex Hormozy value equation of like perceived likelihood of achievement thing, that matters a lot between case studies and guarantees and pricing and so on and so forth. Like the pricing, you can get away with a lot higher pricing with warm traffic than you can from cold traffic, right? So now, I think you understand like the playing field we're on here, cool? Because a lot of people try and take something from warm to cold, and it doesn't work out that well, or they think it's going to work right away and it doesn't. So now, the people I see who do really well with cold traffic, converting to cold traffic, there's two things that they do more than anybody else. Number one is pure volume. Like, it's so stupidly easy to win nowadays. I'm posting on TikTok again. I actually joined Olympia. Shout out to Daniel and the guys, Daniel, Andre, Dan, Christian. And why did I bring that up? Oh yeah. I'm focused on absorbing a lot of that stuff. That program is amazing, by the way. But if it wasn't for this right now, I would be on TikTok, right? So right before joining Olympia, I was posting 30 times a day on TikTok. Just like daily documentation, just like documenting every moment. Because I saw TJR, and TJR was like, oh yeah, I post 40 times a day. I'm like, no way. I thought my 3 to 5 posts a day was like I was a big dog. Not at all. Anyway, so I'm posting 30 times a day. It is stupid how much that supercharged all of my social media platform activity. Look, boop, sales, boop, views, boop, engagement, boop, everything is shot up just by not overthinking it. So there's it's stupidly easy to win. So volume, and then the people who do well, the people who do the best with traffic do actually 3 things. So volume, number 2, they're testing everything all the time. Nothing is like, they're testing everything all the time. They're hyper optimizing. The reason why I got good at cold email isn't because I'm exceptional at cold email. It's because I've tested 10 times more than anybody I know. That's it. I just have more data than you. That's it. And now people rely on me for the answers, which is fine, but like, you got to pay me. Right? But if you want to become the person or the authority in your space, you got to test more than anyone else. I sent so many emails and tested so much that I couldn't send emails for 3 weeks. This was in like May or June of 2025. Because I burnt all my inboxes. I was paying for consultations from folks and they're like looking for help and like, whoa, what's happening? What do I do? Yeah. I only know what I know now because I was testing. One of my first videos on this channel was like, oh, how I fix my deliverability and da-da-da-da. And I think literally the first video on my YouTube channel was about that. And then number 3, they go out of their way to build trust. So if you want to charge, like, if you want to get rich with cold traffic, don't think that your organic assets are mutually exclusive. Right? When it comes to like operating with cold traffic, what I mean by that is, don't think that, because you're running ads or because you're doing cold email, that these guys aren't looking you up, and that having a YouTube channel doesn't help. If I didn't need a YouTube, I mean, I don't need one, but like, if I didn't think a YouTube channel would help, I wouldn't be on here. If I didn't think TikTok would help, I wouldn't be on there. I dominate the AI cold email space because I'm in all these other places. Do you see the difference? It's not because I'm great, like exceptionally good at AI cold email. It's because I'm doing all these other things that you're not willing to do, or that most people aren't willing to do for insert whatever reason, right? Most people don't make a lot of money and they're too prideful, and it doesn't really add up. You're debating if you should be on LinkedIn, but I'm there already. Or like, the version of you that makes money is already there. It's not debating, but it's already there. You're debating if you should like be on TikTok. The version of you who's making money is already there. So these people are everywhere, right? So they're everywhere in the name of going out of their way to build trust. Understanding the psychology of cold traffic means like, you're strategically putting yourself in front of them. It's still cold outreach. You strategically put yourself in their algorithm. They just feel like they ran into you on their own time, but they didn't. You purposely put yourself there. I purposely put this YouTube video up here so you could find it. See what I mean? Especially if you're finding me for the first time. And if you're not finding me for the first time, I strategically put this here in your algorithm. This is like cold traffic if I've never met you. See that? And so all these things allow me to get results. I was getting stupidly big fish applying through my type form for Vintascale, my done for you AI cold email offers. Not because I reached out to them via cold email. Okay, so you can still get results via just like cold outreach, sure, but I'm just telling you, like why would you not seek out the advantage, right? This is a psychology game. Okay, you got to make people feel like they ran into you on their own time. That's how you win cold traffic. Therein lies retargeting ads and all this other stuff. I really understood cold traffic when I, in 2020, worked for a staffing and recruitment firm, one of the most prominent staffing recruitment firms in Canada, and I was dialing over 100 I was making over 100 cold call dials a day. You will really understand really quickly what cold traffic is like. Cold traffic is the most bare bones form of cold traffic is you run into someone on the street. Go ahead and try and pitch them something. You'll see how hard that is. So now, how do you build trust? Presentation, right? How do you build trust? Maybe handing them something simple and then saying, you know, hey, if you can make use of this little thing, come back, right? Or like the messaging or all these things. Like, I don't want to get you so, like, there are other videos I have with like in-depth tactics, but I don't think a lot of you understand like how much you have to go out of your way to permeate one's mind and ego and pride, and most importantly their defense mechanisms when they don't know you. People who do really well with cold traffic make really in-depth proposals. Let it be AI generated, but they do, right? They are not just outreaching through cold email. Like if they get a response with cold email, the guys with the biggest agencies I know, I'm talking 100K, 200K plus a month, they're cold calling every positive responses that they get. You see what I mean? Like there are levels to this, my friend, right? The people who are doing really well with cold traffic, they are as soon as they get a positive response, or as soon as they book a cold call through cold email, they're finding that person's LinkedIn profile and adding a connection and sending a note. You have to do what the other person beside you is not willing to do, right? It is disgustingly stupid easy to hit 10K a month nowadays if that's your number. For my folks at 10K a month already, it is stupidly easy to triple that, right? I genuinely think, or I look at myself when I wasn't at that level, and I genuinely can say that I wasn't doing enough. And I thought I was doing enough. I thought I was trying hard enough, but I wasn't. But again, not to stray away from the theme of this video, if you want to get rich with warm traffic, you're going to need to spend time. If you want to get rich with cold traffic, you're going to need to build trust and go out of your way to build trust. Both of those two things are two sides of the same coin, trust and time. Trust takes time, and it takes time to build trust. You should do both things, because you will get cold traffic who doesn't book with you right away, but they go to your YouTube video, or they sign themselves up or get signed up for your newsletter, and they become warm and then buy from you. Not everybody goes straight from the top of the funnel down to the bottom, right? And if you want them to, well, then you better get really good at building trust really quickly. And how you do that is by convincing people that you know your stuff. How do you do that? Be everywhere. How do you do that? Through trust building assets like really in-depth proposals, pricing psychology, so on and so forth. Cool. I really want you to understand, like, it's not enough for me to show you a Stripe statement or like a WAP statement. I don't think that conveys the level that people are operating at. You have to see it being done. Like, you have to see people's sales process. You have to see, like, if you've sat down in a sales call with me or a consultation, like there's a level of, you have to be a certain level of like sharp and precise and know your stuff. And a lot of this is communicated in the questions you ask in the sales call, right? You got to have this stuff dialed in and bulletproof. My closing rate is too high. It's 83% from cold traffic, which means now, like, that's a problem now. We got to, like, we have the green light to like quadruple the price, if anything. At least triple it. You need, like, I don't know. I honestly don't know, like, what the main takeaway from this would be is, but I think it's that there are levels. There are levels to this. That warm traffic and cold traffic are both one and the same. Like, they're both the same person. I don't know at what point you would consider cold traffic versus warm traffic. Like, I don't know how much time they would need to spend in your funnel for them to now be qualified as warm traffic, unless, like, they just don't book directly from your ad. I don't know the difference. It's really just the funnel. Like, if they book straight from YouTube, for example, they're warm. If they book straight from a Facebook ad, they're cold. But, like, a lot of times it doesn't work. Like, I have people who book from a webinar funnel. They book from cold traffic, or they see one of my ads, for example, or one of my cold emails. They don't respond for a week. In that time, they're going to my YouTube videos, and then once they've convinced themselves that, like, I'm not full of it, then they will go back and, like, book a call from the ad. It's very weird. Or like from the cold call. Sorry, the cold email. So these folks are one and the same, but I don't think people understand how much time it takes to build trust and how much effort it takes. How much effort it takes to build trust. And the folks who are willing to go out of their way and, number one, be everywhere. Number two, really hyper obsess over refining their sales process and how, number three, they appear, and number four, their messaging and how they speak to people and who they speak to, and number five, the product market fit. I think it's that hyper obsession and that level of like really getting to understand your target market. I think that's what separates like the okay, mediocre, like little pigeon agency owners to like the greats. Before I launched Spectre, and this is like a huge thing that I forgot to mention, if there are people who are watching this right now who can attest to this, I'm sure. Before I launched Spectre, I don't even know what the lighting looks like right now. I'm like sitting in a Harvey's parking lot. I just picked up a buffalo chicken poutine. Before I launched Spectre, for a month, I interviewed people. I probably would have done this for VintaScale too, looking back, but I interviewed people, business owners, and said, hey, talk to me about X, Y, and Z. What do you like? What you didn't? What do you not like? Have you invested in like B2B coaching programs before, or B2C coaching, business opportunity coaching programs before? What did you like? What did you not like? How much did you pay? If you could wave a magic wand and have everything be your way, like what would the client experience look like? So I interviewed people. And so by the time I launched Spectre, I knew, and I knew what they wanted, and I still launched it as a prototype. And I do this for any cold traffic offer, to be honest. I interviewed people, some market research, and then I gathered testimonials. I didn't open up Spectre to here or to cold traffic until I started getting people results and until like people could get through this thing properly. And everybody who I know who operates at a high level obsesses over things in that way and takes the time to build trust. You know what I mean? That's you don't get to skip the line. You know what I mean? And so there's some folks who are marketing to cold traffic who could benefit from building a warm audience, because it only helps you with your cold traffic. It only helps you with understanding like what people like about you and like what strategic advantages you have when you go to cold traffic. So by the time I went to cold traffic, I knew that I was great at presenting live in webinars, and so I built a webinar funnel and right? That's one of many examples. And there's people who can benefit, who are doing like warm only, who are getting 100% of their clients from YouTube, who can benefit from going to cold traffic, so you can understand just how BS your offer is and like how terrible it is and like where it can improve. Because if anyone's going to tell you it's going to be cold traffic, these people, it's almost like you got to convince them. Don't actually, but that's their attitude. It's like you got to convince them that you're worth their time. Anyway, I think I'm gonna end it here. But there's just a standard that needs to be raised, almost. Like joining Olympia, for example. Now, like one thing that became very apparent was that my standards weren't high enough in terms of like how I was approaching the business, and the funnels and so on and so forth. Like there's some folks in there operating at a very, very, very high level, and I'm really, really grateful to be a part of that. By the way, shout out to Daniel, shout out to Andre again, Christian, and Dan, and the rest of the team. Anyway, so I'm gonna stop it here. I'm gonna go eat my poutine, and that's it. That's it. Take this and put it like into a ChatGPT or something, and then like I don't know. Add it to your notes, okay? If anything, I'll do that. I'll put a lead magnet in the description. I know I said that last time, but I got busy. And I'll put my TikTok link in here too, so you can follow me on TikTok. Cool? All right. See you guys in the next video. I'm out. Peace.